Let me check. Hello. Okay. Thank you so much and welcome to our LinkedIn Live for this week. Yes, we missed last week and we're really sorry for that. And we are coming back with this week with something more exciting. Tell me something. 300% of the attacks have increased on the healthcare from the last year. This is what the newspaper said, 300% increase on the healthcare, especially in India. And that is such an important news, right? 300% rise on the attack is very huge. So today, as a part of our awareness drive and to make you educate what's happening in your domain, today we are bringing to you Threatsploit Live with all the most important happenings, what happened in your domain last month, right across, explaining to you why it happened, how it can impact you, and what you can do to stop it. So I'm Abhishek, the client advisor at Brisk Infosec, and I like to thank my team for getting this live ready, and I like to thank you for coming over today and listening to us. Let's get going. So, welcome to the Threatsploit Adversary Report March 2022, keeping a close eye on passwords. Now, the first news is Californian public official admits COVID-19 healthcare data breach. Now, what is it? This time, what we have done is to make you understand better. We have categorized it based on what kind of attack is it, what category of it is, what is the reason. So, the first category is misconfiguration. And this is the news that Californian Public Office admits COVID-19 healthcare data breach. So, one of the reason of this is the misconfiguration of the system. Yes, a misconfiguration of the server system can really cause a big loophole in your data and it can be leaked. So third-party server, so this the government of California was using a third-party server, and in that server, that database got exposed because of misconfiguration. Hackers, there's a claim that the hackers might have hacked in and collected the database. We don't have enough proof, but all the people whose data was exposed were emailed or informed by the authorities to make them sure that this has happened, just take care. So the point to note is that a misconfiguration can really cause a lot of issue, including a hack, or it's easy way for a hack. Our second news in the misconfiguration segment is security vulnerability in Umbraco CMS that lead to an account takeover. Now, what is a CMS? It is called as content management software. And this Umbraco has 750,000 users or 750,000 users. There were two vulnerabilities that were discovered, but the one that is very, very important is called the password reset bug, which means after you reset, if you're using Umbraco and after you reset your password, you'll again get an email to reset it again. And that's dangerous, right? If imagine somebody has your Umbraco password, they log in and you reset the password and they get that email in your inbox, and if they have hacked inside your inbox, they can reset the password for themselves. They can completely take out Umbraco. Of course, this is a security misconfiguration for which Umbraco definitely send the patches, but this is what's happening in this month. We notice that a lot of misconfiguration, and that is leading to data breach and other kind of hacks. Our latest third news is something that we never expected to be Vodafone, right? You might be user, I myself, the user of Vodafone, the one of the biggest telephone giants on the planet. They also experience a huge attack. They say it's a cyber attack. So this happened in Portugal last month, and the whole network, their 4G and 5G networks were down. Now, it was not instantly known what is the exact cause, because they were not ready to tell what exactly it is, but they said this was a deliberate malware attack, or it was a deliberate attack by the cyber attackers to stop their system completely. Over a period of time, of course, they recovered the 4G and 5G services. But the point again, this is all because of misconfiguration. As the first, second, and third news, even the companies like Vodafone can go through this. Then imagine you or any other small and medium scale businesses. It's very important to be secure. So, guys, rolls up your sleeves and take care of your information and cybersecurity, please. Let's move on to the next one. Now we're going to change the type. Phishing attack. Now, phishing attack is a word that all of us know very well, but how many of us really know how does this happen? How many of us really know what to do? Or how many of us really know how can we identify there is a particular attack, or this is called a phishing attack? Now, the example is of US healthcare company called IMEDS. Now, if you go across and check out, IMEDS is one of the biggest companies. But what happened here is that they were breached in the past. Somebody put a suit on them, and after the suit or the the case was filed against them, and it was proven their data was breached in 2020. In fact, the data breached, sorry, about the court ordered them to pay a $6 lakh compensation, and 1.2 million people data was exposed right on the web of IMEDS. So IMEDS were given health data because they're the healthcare companies, and that data was exposed because they didn't take care. And do you know what was the recommendation told to them? It is pen test, penetration testing. And guys, we do penetration testing here at Cyber at Brisk InfoSec. Now, let me explain to you, since we're coming to the topic of pen test, and it may sound a little bit of Greek and Latin, to put a little perspective, what is pen test? So before we understand pen test, let's understand what is vulnerability assessment, VAPT. So vulnerability assessment, to put it in perspective, let's take a house, and a burglar or a thief want to get into that house. So he surrounds and he checks, inspect the house, and he wants to get in. He find out that there is a window and he can get through that. So the moment he identifies the window, we can say that is a vulnerability assessment. But a thief can be a hacker or ethical hacker who's trying to identify how to get into your system. So once he identify the window, it's a vulnerability assessment. But when he even goes inside and he sees how to break that window, is that window bulletproof or airproof or whatever, and how he can break into it without letting know any other person, that is your penetration testing. Is the only window, or there are many other windows, or how to get in? So that is the difference between vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Penetration testing is more deep, it's far more deeper, it's more manual, it's more secure, and it's so much amazing because you don't get false positive. So they were told by the code to go for the pen test after they paid $600 million. That's a huge amount, right? Now, the issue is why this category is coming under phishing attack, right? The point is, since this data what exposed out in public or somebody, these people or the hackers can use it for phishing attack, because once I know your email ID, I can social engineer that attack on your email IDs and make sure that you fall into that trap. So this is about the phishing attack happening this month. Next one, which is even more shocking, is the credential stuffing attack. Now, to bring a little perspective of what is credential stuffing attack, and then moving on to the core news. Credential stuffing means what? It's very simple. Credential is your password that you use, right? Login ID and password. Now, generally, most of the people, if not everyone, tend to have same password across. ABC at the rate 123, ABC at the rate your date of birth or whatever, or your name of pet. If one of those sites, there are three sites you have used the same password. If one of the site gets compromised or get hacked, all the database is with the hackers. They can just do this credential stuffing into other things if they know that Abhishek is using Amazon or using Flipkart or whatever. And if God forbid, if I'm using the same password, they can straightly go into it and do whatever they feel like. So this has happened to the English Premier League, to one of the club. Now, English Premier League is the biggest league in football. And they have created, we all fantasy league, right? Even IPL has a fantasy league, and now IPL is going to start, and we have a lot of fantasy league for IPL also, like Dream 11 and whatnot. Now, what happens is that this application is not sold. There are a lot of support application from third party. So if for some reason the third party application I'm using and have used the same credential, as I've used on any other site and that site has got hacked, they can straightly get into this account and hijack my account or hack into my application and do whatever they want. In order to avoid that, the English Premier League has told these fantasy league people to have what is called as a two-factor authentication. Yes, guys, if you're listening to this and you know that you can make your email IDs or whatever you're accessing into 2FA, that is two-factor authentication, please do it. That's one of the most sophisticated way to avoid getting hacked or avoid being attacked. Two-factor authentication. So that is the news. Moving on to the next one is our 0-day vulnerability. Now, what do you mean when we say a 0-day vulnerability? The moment you release your software or application, if you're an application manufacturer, application making company, or software company, the moment you make it, the next day or the very whatever the day, if the hackers or more than hackers, the scientists who are working in cybersecurity discover that there are some loopholes in your application or there are vulnerabilities in a correct way to say vulnerabilities in your application, that day they will record and send it to you. If you're the application owner or creator, that day is called a 0-day. And if somebody exploits that, it's called a 0-day attack. Now, this application, if you see on the screen, Nua Baby Monitor, it's a very popular application. You can see the picture says itself. You can put it in, if you have a baby, you can put it in your house. And you know, it has a camera. It can put a video of that baby, what's happening around, and you can be anywhere on the planet and check the status of your baby or whatever it is. It's not just for baby, for anyone. So basically, it's such a private thing in your home, right? Now, the point is that after the 0-day vulnerability was discovered in their app, and that vulnerability will allow the hackers to take over the video streaming, which means if I am watching right now, if my baby is there somewhere, and I want to look into what he or she is doing, and I'm looking on the video, that means this vulnerability will allow the hacker to hack my video, my stream, and see what I am seeing. Now, that's pretty personal, and a lot of not so good things can be done if you have this video information, which you should not have. So once it was reported on the 0-day, they have patched it up. So this is FYI, guys. If you are using any softwares or applications and there are vulnerabilities reported, or the 0-day vulnerabilities are reported and they are not being patched, please make sure, get into touch with your company, whichever who is providing that application, get it patched. Because if you don't patch it, or if you're using the old outdated version, you are absolutely opening big doors for hackers and not so good people to come in and exploit your information. Let's move on to the next one, something that's even more shocking and cannot even be imagined. Ransomware as a service. Now tell me, can you ever imagine that ransomware can be a service? That means I can pay someone so that he can attack my competitor or a person whom I don't want via ransomware. That's happening. If you can see on the screen, it's RAAS, ransomware as a service. This has come up as a new sophisticated of service on the dark web, where you can pay people, the professional hackers, not the ethical, the unethical ones, and they can constitute what is called as a ransomware attack, because they're using ransomware as a service. So this has come up, and the techniques that they're using is a phishing technique and remote desktop protocol, RDP. So this is for information, guys, and this is being issued by national cybersecurity organization across United Kingdom, across United States and Australia. That means this kind of attacks are prone in these countries, and the national cybersecurity organization of US, UK and Australia is telling people, be careful, you might get phished attacked or you might have RDP attack, but make sure you take care, as I told you, 2FA or changing your passwords regularly. If you keep on changing that, making good passwords combination, I'm sure nobody can hack that. Moving on to our next category, sensitive data exposure. What does it mean? It means that I, as an organization, had a very sensitive data of the people who are associated with my organization, and that is being leaked outside, and outside in the sense on the open web, and to the people who should not know about it, right? So what has happened is that Internet Society data, now it's a not-for-profit or non-governmental organization to make internet open and inclusive for everyone. It's for a good cause. If you remember last month when we ran the Threatsploit Live, we told about Red Cross. Even Red Cross is that organization which do good for people in war-torn countries. They were sensitive data was exposed last time, and this time it is Internet Society data leak. What has happened is that the Internet Society has around 80,000 plus members, and all their information were downloaded or hacked in JSON format. The information is around 80,000. The reason they are saying all this information was publicly available and it was on the Azure cloud and which was unprotected. Now they have informed everyone whose information was compromised, and they have told that you might be phished, a phishing attack can happen, or identity theft might happen, or a fraud can happen, because all this data in JSON format is available in open. Now they have stopped it, but it was very much available and vulnerable. People, the hackers may have taken it, it's not sure. So what I wanted to say, guys, even big organizations on this planet like Red Cross or Internet Society, even their data is getting out. That is, this is on a cloud, of course, an unprotected one. Please, if you're listening to this and if your data is on cloud, you're using cloud for storage, please go for the cloud infrastructure security or penetration testing of your cloud or vulnerability assessment of your cloud, which we do it on a regular basis. Get in touch with us, make yourself secure. Let's move on to the next one. MFA fatigue attack. Now you might be thinking MFA, it sounds like the name of ministry, isn't it? MFA. It's nothing. It's multi-factor authentication. Just like we say 2FA authentication. Nowadays, in order to stop cyber attackers to attack you, apart from password, the companies are making two-factor authentication. If you see, you can make it on your Gmail. You can even go and do it on your Facebook in order to make sure that it is you who is accessing it. Now, hackers have found a way around it also. That also for Office 365. One of the best Office suites that you can use around the globe is Office 365. That is also prone to theft. What is happening is that if you have ever used Office 365, you have to give your phone number. So if you're logging in from anywhere else, anywhere, they'll ask you first for your password, and then they will send an SMS with a code or a call to your registered mobile number. Now, what has happened is that it's called two-factor authentication. Now, what is happening? You have to just click saying that, yes, it's you, not the password, but you have to say it's you, clicking on your phone. The hackers have socially engineered. They understood there are certain category of people who are not aware, and they're just clicking it without even understanding what it is all about. That means if I want to hack ABC and I know him or her is not very much aware of how this 2FA works, and he or she is just clicking, I can simply log in and 2FA will go to their phone and they click and I get into their account and I can do whatever I want. So this also has been flagged latestly by Office 365, that is Microsoft, and this has been happening, which is quite shocking because we so far thought that 2FA or two-factor authentication is the way out to somehow stop the cyber attackers to get in. Let's move to the next one. Denial of service attack category. Now, we all know what's happening around in the world. It's Russia attacking Ukraine. And we all know, even before they physically attacked, the cybersecurity assault started way back, and it was in the news. In order to avoid that, European nations had offered a cyber defense assistance. So what I wanted to say is that there are around 6 countries like Croatia, Lithuania, Estonia, Poland, Netherlands, and Romania. They have come together and formed what is called a cyber rapid response team. They took the decision that we are going to protect Ukraine from further cybersecurity assault by Russia or Russian attackers or state-sponsored Russian attackers. They have taken that decision, they have activated it, and they're protecting the Ukraine system. It's a good news that the countries are recognizing to the fact that you're not just exposed on the land, sea, or air, but you're also exposed on the internet, and protecting your country against, during the warfare time, against the cybersecurity assault or attack is crucial and important. So guys, heads up, if you're thinking anytime that cybersecurity is not so serious, please take it seriously. Going on to our last piece of news for today, it's again denial of service attack related to Russia. This time it's not targeting Ukraine, it is the United States contractors, people who take contracts. So it is said that it was reported that for continuously 6 months, The sensitive data of the contractors was exposed, and the Russian cyber theft or Russian cyber attackers were extracting all that information. When it was understood, of course, it was patched and stopped. But people whose data was exposed were being told that, guys, you can have anything called as a spear phishing, which is another level of phishing. They can have a brute force attack and credential harvesting, because so much credentials, login IDs and passwords are with them. They can just enter. Credential hacking can be done, brute force can be done. So the best way, David told, is to go for MFA, multi-factor authentication. Of course, as I told you, don't just keep on clicking. If you ever come across a notification, please read, is it you, or you're just clicking it? And if you have so many applications who are constantly popping up notification like Zomato or whatever, please stop it, because in that confusion you might go on clicking and you actually you did a MFA for your own account and somebody is just logging in. Be very careful with that. So that brings us to the end of our Threatsploit report for this month of March. We want to make sure that you guys understand what we have said. So in case you have any question or query related to any of this news or any of the services, how we can help you, please do reach out. We do all the kind of web vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, right from application to your website to IoT to cloud. Any digital asset you have and you really want to get it secured, please do call us. In fact, we have got an amazing product called websitepentest.com, wherein you can absolutely go, and it's a subscribe model. You can go and subscribe it and protect your website from hackers. Basically, this particular website, pentest.com, the whole testing is not done by a robot. It is done by humans beings like me and our team who is sitting here to protect you and your stakeholders from any kind of attack. Stay in touch. We'll come back in next live with something amazing, something awareness creating, so that you understand that cybersecurity is such a key thing and important thing for you and for all of us. At the end of the day, for Brisk InfoSec, protecting your digital infrastructure is our vision. That's why we are here. Thank you so much for joining in on the live today. Please drop in our question. We'll definitely respond on that. Thank you. Take care. Stay safe online. Until the next time. Bye.